Welcome to MTN Outdoors.
Oh, hey guys, you caught me. Welcome back to another episode of MTN Outdoors. I'm your host, Keith Revenitz, here in Helena, Montana. Now, as you can see, I'm ready for the winter activities. I'm going to be warm, I'm going to be safe, and yes, I'm going to be fashionable. But in order to get to the location that I need to get to, I need to have good tires. We're going to take a look at a story that will tell you all about the roads and getting the right tires and what you need to do to make sure that you and your family are safe. There's also all kinds of winter activities coming up. Stay tuned, guys. Whew.
With snow falling all around us and across the state and more cold weather on the forecast, it becomes this time of year when fresh new tires become extremely important. As the flakes fell Monday, realization began to set in.
It's going to be hard to get traction to go, hard to get traction to stop.
Realization that winter weather has officially arrived, likely bringing hazardous winter roads along with it.
Now it's time for the slipping and sliding, especially if this comes down like it is.
I'm sure there will be within the next 24 hours.
Up until now, roads in Billings have stayed relatively clear.
I mean, obviously today it's snowing, but, it's just wet.
Though that isn't the case on the interstate. Check out this view of the Bozeman Pass, and here's another of I-90 just east of Billings, both covered in snow with poor visibility.
It's good to have good tires, good traction when it's snowing.
The storm calling Montanans to swap out their usual tires for winter ones, or at the very least, make sure theirs are new.
I had to have a tire replaced.
David Voth, just one example of a customer making sure their tires are safe, though it's less about winter tires than it used to be.
They make the all-season stuff so much better now, that it runs in the wintertime as well.
J&M Tire co-owner Mark Ruff says all-season tires are the new norm due to the lack of snow and the increase in their effectiveness.
I've had a couple of sets today, but for the most part, it's just been all seasons today.
A change from years past, though Ruff knows what's most important is that people, like Voth, are paying attention with more cold on the way.
Like I say, just make sure you got good tires on your truck. If you don't know what you're doing or, come in to see Mark.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Most folks in Montana had some shoveling to do this weekend, but one group came together to clear off a pond so they could continue their hockey games and ice skating. Ice skating is a popular winter sport in Montana, and when the ice is safe, smooth, and free of snow, it can be an epic adventure. But inevitably, the snow flies and covers the ice. At that point, a decision is made to either find other activities or to keep skating. In order to resume passing the puck and skating laps, the snow has to get moved. Sometimes the ice is thick enough to support an ATV or side-by-side with a plow, but other times when the ice is not thick enough to support machinery, old-fashioned manpower has to get the job done. That was the case this past weekend when the village showed up and worked to clear the ice. Adults, kids, and even a few four-legged creatures spent hours shoveling off the ice. Yes, there even was a man towing his young child behind him just for extra exercise. The flurry of activity lasted nearly 3 hours, but in the end, a common goal was achieved with a great skating area for those that work so hard. Just another example of one of Montana's great communities working together. And now you're a little more weather-wise.
Ice fishing is one of Montana's most popular winter activities, and every year hundreds of people gather at Smith Lake in Kyla for the Sunriser Lions Ice Fishing Derby.
Well, I think it's important to get kids outside. In Montana, we hunt and fish and hike and camp, and so you get the kids started at the early age.
And for the 53rd year in a row, 300 to 400 people gathered for the Ice Fishing Derby.
You see these little kids at 5, 6 years old that come up and they're holding a little perch or northern pike, and they're proud of it, and you weigh it and you give them a rod and a reel, and you got them hooked for life as a fisher, as an angler, so a lot of fun.
The Sunriser Lions use this event to raise funds for their main mission of eyesight conservation. They test the eyesight of 10 to 15,000 kids in northwest Montana each year. And what better way to raise money than catching fish?
Well, it's just ice fishing is part of what we do in northwestern Montana in the wintertime.
During the Derby, the first 75 kids to catch a fish receive a free fishing pole donated by Flathead Walleyes Unlimited.
And it's a good time. We have hamburgers and hot dogs and prizes for the biggest northern and the biggest perch. And we also have prizes for the kids, 12 and under, for the smallest northern and the smallest perch. And it's just a fun time.
While catching fish is fun, according to one young angler, the best part of the event is
getting to see how much they weigh.
The fishing derby is kid-centered, but also serves as an opportunity for the whole family to get outside and enjoy the Montana winter.
It's fun and it makes me happy to spend time with my family and do fun things.
In Kyla, Kiana Wilson, MTN News.
You're watching MTN Outdoors. Let's be safe before we hit the road.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Now that we know our vehicle is safe to hit the road, let's go. There's so much history and vast, beautiful lands here in Montana. There's a lottery that you can enter to be one of not too many people to see and explore a very special part of Montana. I hope I win. I hope I see you there. There's also multiple days here in 2025 when you can go to national parks and not pay a dime. So we're going to look at all that. And here in Helena, the famous fire tower, the iconic symbol of Helena, is now under construction. We're going to learn what's going on with that coming up.
The top portion of the Helena Fire Tower has been removed, as you can see here, as part of a restoration and construction project to keep the guardian of the Gulch's history alive for years to come.
The fire tower has actually been burned itself like 3 times since it was constructed in 1874. And so it just shows the resilience of the structure and the city itself.
Dick Anderson Construction began work on the historic Helena Fire Tower just before Christmas. The cab of the tower and bell were removed to provide easier access to the legs and support beams and to take weight off of the structure.
The restoration is needed on the fire tower because in 2016 there was a fire, an arson fire occurred at the site, and there's 4 major legs that hold up the tower, and one of those legs was burnt pretty significantly, and it impacted the integrity of the structure.
The reason restoration has not begun until nearly a decade after the damage is due to detailed studies on each piece of the tower and matching species of wood. The goal is to retain as much of the original material as possible.
Some of the challenges of this project will be getting the timbers. The new timbers have to be dried to a specific moisture level, and that's 12% moisture, 12 to 15%, so that they don't warp or be impacted by the weather.
There will be a delay as construction waits for the properly dried timbers to be processed. The attention to detail and historical accuracy will allow the tower to continue to be a symbol.
The goal of this project is to stabilize the fire tower so that it can be up there on the hill well into the future and overlook the city. And it's a really important piece of history to the city of Helena.
Dick Anderson Construction was awarded the contract last year. The project is valued at around $385,000 and work is anticipated to be completed by midsummer. Reporting in Helena, I'm Madeline Heath, MTN News.
There's a variety of reasons why landowners want to protect their land, but it comes down to one thing. They love their land and they want to see it protected the way that it is for future generations to enjoy.
For 40 years, Flathead Land Trust has served as a bridge for landowners in northwest Montana, looking to save their critical farmland and wildlife habitat from future development.
The primary tool that we use is we partner with private landowners to do conservation easements. And essentially that is an agreement that we have with the private landowner to see that their land stays intact and is protected in perpetuity.
In 2024, Flathead Land Trust protected close to 1,200 acres through 7 different conservation easements. Executive Director Paul Travis plans on passing a major milestone in 2025.
And we are pushing up against 20,000 acres of total conservation since we started in 1985. So very excited to see that. We will see that happen the first part of this year, where we will surpass 20,000 acres of conservation. So.
Travis says conservation easements not only help protect critical land, but also help create new state parks, wildlife management areas, and trail systems for public use.
Oh, you know, for some landowners, it's a lifelong dream to make sure that they see their land that they love so much stays intact and is protected. And, you know, for others, it's a chance to give back to the community.
Travis says their work is not possible without generous landowners and ongoing community support, helping protect the beauty of Montana we all know and love.
That's why we live here. That's what makes this place so special. And so protecting that and protecting those values for the future is important.
In Kalispell, Sean Wells, MTN News.
Heads up, outdoor enthusiasts. Here's that very special lottery I told you about. Smith River permit applications opened up earlier this month. It's a celebrated spot in central Montana known for its blue ribbon trout fishing, floating, and spectacular views. It's actually one of the most sought-after outdoor experiences in the state. It's a 59-mile section between Camp Baker and Eden Bridge, and you can't go there unless you have a permit. Those permits are drawn annually through a lottery system. Applications cost $15 and are one per person. You can get one through February 15th. Fish, Wildlife, and Parks hold the permit drawing on the 19th of February. But here's another nuance. There's a chance for Smith River Super Permit, which means the winner can head out on any date of the season. A chance for the Super Permit costs an extra $5, and the winner of the Super Permit will find out on April 4th.
Here at the north entrance to Yellowstone National Park, things just aren't so busy this time of year, but that will all change come spring and summer. Anytime you'll need something like your pass, or you'll have to pay to get into the park, but there are a few times out of the year where that's not the case. There are 6 days in 2025 when you'll be able to score a free entrance to any National Park Service site that charges a fee. Those days are Saturday, January 20th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Friday, April 19th for National Park Week, Wednesday, June 19th for Juneteenth, Sunday, August 4th for the anniversary of the Great American Outdoors Act, Friday, September 27th for National Public Lands Day, and Monday, November 11th for Veterans Day. That means, of course, that you'll get a free entrance at many more places than just Yellowstone. In Montana, that means entry fees are also waived on those dates for Glacier and the Little Bighorn Battlefield National Monument. According to the National Park Service homepage, there are a total of 108 sites nationwide which charge a fee and will allow free entry on those dates. But not everything is free. You'll still have to pay for things like campground fees, fishing and boating permit fees, and other charges not strictly related to park entry. For MTN News, I'm John Shearer in Yellowstone National Park.
Denying requests from Montana and Wyoming to delist grizzly bears from Endangered Species Act protections, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service announced what they say is a new, more comprehensive management approach for the lower 48. They suggest a new rule to clarify the exact geographic zone in which bears are protected, which includes parts of Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and Washington, and to manage the bears in it as one single unified population. The service said their proposal will increase flexibility for managing agencies and reduce human-bear conflict. They also released an independently peer-reviewed scientific assessment on the status of grizzlies. Former Fish and Wildlife Service Grizzly Bear Recovery Coordinator Christopher Servine approves of the agency's decision. He wrote the current plan for bear management. His updated version was featured in a December petition asking the agency to adopt several of the management strategies included in their proposal.
Seeing where we've come since 1981, we've come a long way. We've done really well with these bears. We need to complete the job and not walk away from it when we're not done. It's like building a house and maybe you put the frame up and it starts to look like a house, but then you quit and say, well, we're done. That's essentially what would happen if we delist grizzly bears right now. We're not finished.
But many Montana leaders, including Governor Greg Gianforte, have condemned the decision, saying grizzlies are fully recovered and do not need federal protection.
It's time for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to catch up with the science, follow the law, and return management of the grizzlies to the states where it belongs. The full recovery of the grizzly bear across the Rocky Mountain region should be acknowledged and celebrated, period. We look forward to working with the incoming Trump administration to explore a new path forward.
Fish and Wildlife said this is the first step to fulfill an agreement with Idaho to evaluate the bear's protected status in the lower 48 before January of next year. In Missoula, Caroline Weiss, MTN News.
You're watching MTN Outdoors, and I'm so glad the snow is here. Stay tuned.
We now return to MTN Outdoors.
Oh, hey guys. As you can see, winter is here, and I'm very excited for the winter activities. There's skiing, there's sledding, there's snowballs, there's snowmen. We've got it all here in Montana. Look at me, I'm ready, and the snow is coming. Check out some of these stories of how you can have fun in the snow.
Many in the U.S. enjoy sledding, a fun winter activity, including the Colt family of Helena, whose 9 kids use the activity to strengthen their bond. Sun, smiles, and sleds. This is what you would find behind Carroll College's Guadalupe Hall, where I ran into the Colt family Tuesday afternoon. Katrina is mom to 9 children between the ages of 4 and 19 and brings them to Guad Hill and other Helena sledding spots on a regular basis for some fun. She says sledding makes it easy for all of her kids to enjoy the outdoors together in one place.
It's great because it's something all ages, all grade levels, all skill levels can do, from the oldest to the youngest. In one spot, you can watch them all, so it's nice.
Hunter, the youngest, had just this to say about sledding.
Done.
The oldest Colt, 19-year-old Cole, says sledding is a great way to spend a day when you have lots of siblings.
Oh, I mean, sledding is you're out in the open space, so I mean, you can all be out here together.
17-year-old Dalit says more people means more fun.
Just more fun, more people, and we have races and do different stunts.
The Colts go down 1, a few, even 8 at a time. The chance to hit a jump and glide down the hill for the Colts means more than just fun. It makes them feel
blessed.
I'm gonna grab a sled and hit the hill. In Helena, Michael Wolf. MTN News.
Cross-country skiing is a popular Montana winter pastime. And after a heavy snowfall, the Bill Roberts Golf Course is no longer acting as a golf course, but rather a skier's paradise.
So a lot of people really get happy when it snows and come out here, and it's nice to see all the happy faces, and more people are coming out here all the time and recreating and having fun in the winter, and it makes it so winter's a lot more enjoyable for people who might not otherwise like winter, and people who love winter, they like it even more.
Happy faces are what make people like Dave Dalthorpe volunteer their time to maintain a smooth cross-country ski trail system. Alongside 4 other volunteers, snowmobiles groom the golf course with funds from nonprofit Last Chance Nordic Ski Club. It takes a good base of snow before the groomer can hit the course.
There needs to be enough snow so they're not going down through the snow onto the rocks in the cart paths that they cross, because this is a golf course and the cart paths have gravel on them. And there needs to be sufficient snow that we can pack into the ground to keep it firm so they're not going to ruin their skis on the gravel.
The team uses 4 pieces of equipment to groom the golf course, depending on the type of snow.
This implement is called a roller. It rolls over the snow, packs it down, and then after it packs it down, there's a pad back here that creates the corduroy that you can see back there.
When the snow is not as soft, groomers use a Jinsu groomer to clean out tracks and a track setter for people to ski in a set track.
It feels amazing to be outside. We've got the sun shining, we've got some fresh grooming, we've got amazing snow. So getting outside and being able to be active and be strong is so important. It's so helpful. I feel like it's so much better for my mental health to be able to be doing this in Helena where it's so close to home.
Donations can be made to the Last Chance Nordic Ski Club to maintain the local ski areas.
Reporting in Helena, I'm Madeline Heath, MTN News.
With snow in the forecast, ski resorts are getting fresh powder and all the lifts are running. I'm here at Teton Pass, and all the folks here are excited to be open and welcome all the snow and skiers.
Last week we picked up just what we needed and got her open. So far it's not too abnormal, but a little bit delayed. And now that we're running, it seems like the snow just keeps coming.
Last year was difficult, and they were only able to open for 4 days.
I think last year, overall the whole state suffered. We had this really long, drawn-out dry spell into January and many delays in getting open. We suffered, I think, the worst of it throughout the state, just the area that we're in. We're starting a new year, 2025. We're trying not to focus on last year, and we're off to a great start.
A scenic drive, less wait time for the lifts, and great runs.
We did catch the second half of the Christmas break. That's always a big one for ski areas, and make sure we hit the school outages and we get all that traffic, help us kind of start the season off right. So we caught that, and then going forward we'll be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and all this snow just helps drive traffic and gets people outside and gets them excited.
Teton Pass may be a bit off the beaten path, but it's well worth the drive to enjoy your time on the slopes with friends and family. From Teton Pass, I'm Paul Sanchez for MTN News.